Alright, so in this week's update, we are faced with the challenge of filling this void here, this cavity. It's causing the angle on the dangle not to line up with the teak plywood. We've got to fix this. We want to make it visually right. So we need to find a way to create an image of what that void looks like onto a piece of paper so we can transfer that onto a piece of wood and then cut it out and fill that void. It's going to be a crude method we come up with. Hopefully it works. So we took that piece of paper, we transferred it onto a piece of scrap plywood, and we cut it out. We put it in there, and this is what it looks like. Now we just got to make it work. Hopefully, with any luck, we found the solution to our problem. If not, it's back to the drawing board. One of the other things we want to tackle in this week's video is we need a fiberglass tab the filler plywood to the fiberglass edge where the old plywood used to be tabbed into the boat at. This is going to be a little bit messy, but it's a necessary process in ensuring everything is bonded together so we don't have any squeaks, clicks, creaks, or groans when the boat is underway. We don't want to have any of that. And of course, what DIY sailboat repair project would be complete without a little bit of "Oh Glorious" sanding taken from Mads on Sail Life? We got to prep this surface. We got to get rid of all the little hairs of fiberglass that are hanging down, all the sharp drips and snags and all that stuff. We want to make this surface smooth so we can paint it, and that way it'll just be one more layer of protection. So like we said before, we have a lot of processes and steps that we need to get out of the way in order to progress forward, and these are just a few of them that we're going to tackle in this week's update. We hope you like it. Sit back, enjoy, crack open a bottle of nice cold cream soda, and let her play all the way through, and leave a comment every once in a while. Tell us what you think of how we're doing. Enjoy.
Perfect.
Don't forget to watch it all the way through.
Yep.
And now you guys like to only watch part of it. You gotta watch the whole thing. Alright?
Just a thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Welcome back to another exciting and thrill-filled adventure with DIY Nautical Dream.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below.
In case you missed it in last week's video, once we trimmed out all the rotted plywood, we wanted to seal and dead in that edge, that live edge of the old plywood, and seal that with penetrating epoxy. So once everything was cleaned and prepped, ready to go, we proceeded with applying the penetrating epoxy. Let me tell you, that stuff drips all over the place. When you're applying it overhead, it runs like water. But it penetrates that wood, it gets in there and protects and prolongs the life of it and hardens it up. While we were at it with the penetrating epoxy, we went ahead and treated the plywood filler panel as well. Sealed that up really good so no moisture can damage it. Okay, so now with the plywood filler panel protected and treated from any moisture, it's time to get ready to install it. So the next thing we need to do is add a very thick layer of thickened epoxy all the way around the edge of the old plywood where we'd recently trimmed it and sealed it with penetrating epoxy. The installation of the plywood filler panel was pretty straightforward due to the fact that we'd already fitted it and trimmed it and located all the holes. This time the preparation paid off. Now with the filler panel installed, it was up to us to just spare out the extra squeeze out of the thickened epoxy and sealing those edges so that it's seamless and that we don't get any squeaks or vibrations or any rattling later on down the road. Plus we want to make sure it's moisture proof. So once the plywood filler panel was installed, it became very apparent that down at this end there was a problem. There's the angle of the dangle which does not match up.
Wow.
So we need to figure this out before we install the teak panel, because this is going to leave a big obvious void here. So we got to figure this out. Always something. And now you're up to date, and that leads us right into this week's video. We hope if you got a chance to watch last week's video, you enjoyed it. And if you missed it, feel free to go back, take a look. We hope you enjoy it.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome back. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together
we make DIY Nautical Dream.
So let's go straight to our project update, honey.
Oh yeah, we got a lot in store for you guys on this one.
Yep.
If we're lucky.
Yep. We're gonna find a way to fill in the angle gap at forward end.
Oh man,
It's not our best work. Well, it's not his best work. It's a little sloppy, but he have fun.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be a little. It's not gonna be one of our proudest projects on that section there. I don't think we're gonna. I just don't have a good feeling about it, but we'll see how it turns out. It's gonna be messy no matter what.
Yep, and then we're gonna do our thickened epoxy.
Thickened epoxy is gonna be our friend on this section of the project for sure. No matter what, we're gonna be using lots of thickened epoxy again. So no matter what, it's gonna be messy. So.
Yep. So and little sanding, some white paint, and then some extending wires.
Oh yeah, gonna add the length on those wires. They're kind of short right now, so.
And penetrating epoxy. But anyway, stay tuned, guys. We're gonna show you our update this week.
Oh yeah, and if we're lucky, we're gonna actually commit to locating and drilling the mounting holes for the teak panel. Wow! That's gonna take a lot of courage on my part. I don't know if we're gonna get that far or not, but if we do, that'll be a great thing. But I hate drilling the holes in those panels right after we get done making them so nice and beautiful, but we'll see how it all goes. Okay, what we want to do is we want to figure out how to get this odd surface transferred onto a block of wood that's going to go into here, because we're going to put a block of wood in there as a filler, but this has got a weird shaped top surface to it. We're going to come up with an idea to transfer that. So our piece of wood's going to be roughly about this wide. So basically from there to here. That's the area we're looking to fill up, okay? So this is gonna be kind of a crude method, but I think it'll work. So we're gonna use this as our follower up here, kind of like a wheel. And it's just gonna gotta be nice and straight up and down. And we're just gonna go like this with it. So our pin, so here we go. Pin's gotta stay level. All right. So that's roughly our shape of what's going on up in there. But we didn't get that. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it to be close, because it's gonna be pasted up in there with thickened epoxy. So we have a little bit of room for fudge factor. But what we want to do, we want to transfer that onto like a block of wood, so this piece can go up in there. So basically what we do is we take this off of here, put it on the wood, cut this line off the top edge of the wood, and it should fit up in there. Should be no problem. So that's what we're going to try and do. We had to transfer off of here onto a bigger piece of wood because I don't have any way of holding this while I cut it with the jigsaw here. And even when I get to right there, this spot here will still have a little bit of a problem. I'll have to readjust the clamp when we get to that point. But for right now, I just want to get this cut. It doesn't have to be rocket science precise. We just want to get it within the ballpark there. So we'll go ahead and get the blade in here. Alright, we got to the clamp. We'll have to reposition that. And we can probably just get away with moving it back a little tiny bit because we were pretty close. And we'll go ahead and get the rest of that off of there. Okay, so that roughly matches this. So that's what we were looking for. We'll cut it out the rest of the way and then we'll go test fit it. So it's going to require a little bit of fine tuning by hand. We're going to have to sand this area right here because it's just a spot we didn't capture very well when we were putting our mark on there. We'll go see how that fits and we'll be right back. Alright, so let's check the fit here. Trying to fill this area up in here, okay? Doesn't have to be an exact fit, but we just want it to be something that works out close. Sorry for the jerky camera work, but I'm trying to get everything going at the same time here. So let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so we're looking for something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to have a gap underneath for our teak plywood panel to slot in underneath that. So I think we need to take a little bit more off right up in here and we'll have our fit that we're looking for. Yep. So if we take just a little bit off right here, we'll be good. So that's what we'll go do. We'll sand that down and then we'll be able to drop it right in there with some epoxy on it. Alright, we definitely succeeded in making a mess. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to fill in some of that void up in there. And so we put some filler pieces up in there and we put our filler piece up in there that we cut out, and then we used a very generous amount of very thick epoxy, and then we used our leftover to kind of put a fill in this void here. And so we're just trying to block off the air getting up into this on the back side of this panel, because there is some spots where it's not fully touching, and so we're just trying to eliminate as many passageways for air to get up in there. And so that kind of worked out all right. And then we're gonna fill in this some more, put some more, probably some more epoxy up in there, thicken epoxy, just to use it as filler. And we need to do the same thing along here. We could not do that while the camera was on. That was just too much chaos, too much of a mess going on. And I don't do well when I'm trying to work against the clock with epoxy. Alright, so we're going to wet out the cloth here real quick. And we just cut it into small pieces so that it's easier to manage. This isn't really super structural. It's more just to kind of bond the new panel to some of the existing structure that's in there and kind of help bond to the thickened epoxy that we used as a big fillet on those edges. Okay, so we got it nice and wetted out. It's a lot easier to wet it out like this than it is to try and do it from overhead. So we have thickened epoxy that's pushed into this seam up here, and it's curing at the same time this is, so it'll be a chemical bond between the fiberglass tape and the thickened epoxy, so that'll be good. And really it's non-structural, we're just doing this as an extra, tabbing everything together. Okay, so we'll go wet out another piece for up in there. We'll go do that now. Okay. These work really good for cutting fiberglass. Nice little handy tools. Okay, so we got that wetted out pretty nice. All right, then we'll do a little piece right there and that'll be good. Okay. All right, so far we have it tabbed from about here going forward. And up in there. So actually turned out pretty good considering the space is not real convenient for working. And we got a lot of thickened epoxy up on the other side, the top side of that. And that was to fill in those voids. And then if you look right here, we still have to put a little fillet in there. All the way down to there. And then we'll fiberglass tape that in. Not bad, we're getting it. It's very messy. It's just tabbing it together so we don't get any vibrations or any squeaks or anything like that later on down the road. We want it to all pretty much be as one. And then the next step will be to add our angle piece. It's going to be here to level the plywood out. And then we'll have to put another one like right about here, I think. And then the rest of it's pretty much leveled out. And we'll have to run some, we're going to crimp on some new wires there for our lighting. And we'll put two reds and 2 blacks on there. One pair will go off to the right, one pair will go off to the left. And that'll be for some lighting ideas. We have not figured the lighting ideas out yet. So we got to think our way through on that. But we know we want the wiring in there, so we can do the wiring and we'll still try and figure out the lighting. All right, we'll get back to work. All right. Wetter the better, right? Right, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, man. We're gonna have to wipe down the wood here.
There's the line.
Right here? Yeah, I might wipe it all down. It's hard to tell because it looks like air bubbles, but it's actually a lot of it is the thickened epoxy that's behind there. Makes it look like there's air bubbles in there. All right. We're going a little overboard as always. Probably could have just got away with putting a piece of plywood up there and then putting the teak plywood over the top of it, and probably would have been just fine, but we can't do it like that. All right, then we'll get the next section in there. Got a couple sections more to go. If it's too wet though, it starts to get drippy. Then we don't want that. Oh no! Then we got resin. Well, we already got it dripping everywhere anyways, but see, we got a heavy bead of thickened epoxy in here, and then we're putting the cloth over it, so it kind of gives it that look like there's air bubbles in there, and then we have the epoxy spread out through here too, so I think we're all right. So what we'll do tomorrow is, once this is all cured up, we'll lightly sand it. We'll take off all these sharp little hairs that are hanging down, these little fine pieces right here, and smooth it up. And then once it's all smoothed up, then we can start preparing our brackets that the the teak plywood is gonna mount onto, and we'll be in good shape. So, okay, it's about 24 hours later, and it's time to sand this and prep it for paint. Okay. I don't think we wanted to get too deep into that. Just enough to take all those the little bumps that were on here. And that's about it. And we got them off. I had some epoxy drips and stuff hanging over.
Oh, wow.
That's all we wanted to do. Okay, so now it becomes a little bit more clear why we were spending so much attention on this gap and trying to make sure we had it filled, but just enough for a 1/4 inch gap at the bottom. That's for our plywood panel to fit in there. Now it's time to start figuring out hole locations and hole patterns, how we want it to look on the panel. This is going to be the hard part. So here I'm trying to figure out some possible mounting locations where we're going to put the fasteners up in there to mount it. So I'm thinking about 1 inch away from the back surface and a 1 inch that from here also. There'd be 3 here, 2 here, 2 here, and then probably 3 here, maybe 4, and then probably same here, same, and then back down to probably just like 1, 1, and 1. Okay, so that's that. And then we don't know what our lighting fixtures are going to be underneath here yet, so I'm not sure if I want to drill holes and put mounting screws in there without knowing what kind of lighting fixtures and what the spacing is going to be on the fixtures and how big they are and how many. So it's kind of tough to make a decision. The next thing is we have to do spacing from up underneath here, and we know that right about there at this one here it's 1/2 inch, see? So that's exactly where we want that to sit, so there's no gap there. And then here at the end is 3 1/4, so roughly 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch will give us our 3/4, and that gets us nice and right where we want to be. So we're figuring out the spacing issues also, and then as we get towards here more, we're down to just 1/4 inch. So we're also figuring that out as well. Does it really matter? It definitely wasn't thought about before when they put the other panel on there. They didn't give any consideration as to how it's going to look visually. But if we don't do that, then this panel will be sloping upwards as it gets inboard. And I don't like that. I want it to match this all the way across. Like I said, nobody's probably going to notice unless we pointed it out, but we want to put that kind of quality in there. We have the time, might as well do it. So that's what we're working on right now. Alright, so I finally decided on locations where we're going to put the fastener holes. I was originally going to put 3 right here, but instead we're going to put 1 here and roughly 1 here. And I think I'll probably bring this one in a little bit more that way and probably leave that one about where it's at. And then here we'll put 2 also, but I think I'm going to squeeze them in just a little bit, especially here because we don't have much to bite on over here. So we'll move this one in a little bit and probably that one in. I think I'm coming off right here 1 inch, and I might come in 1.5 inches, just I think it'll look better. So anyway, so a row there, a row there, a row here. These will be all 2s, and then here will be 3. And then measured for the light, have the light location. We're going to put our main light right here. It's going to match the one across the way over there, the blue one there. It'll match that one. It's going to be right in line with it, so that'll be good. We got to have everything match up so it doesn't bother me when I'm looking at it. We don't like things not centered. And then we'll put another set of 3 here, and then we'll put a single and the single right there. So that'll work out pretty good. The one thing I'm not very happy about is I don't like how all this is lining up. So we're gonna have to do something I don't like, and we're gonna have to have kind of a little bit of a curve in it right here. These ones will be right here, but I don't want this gap here, so we gotta leave this down here, and then we'll pull these up tight all the rest of the way. And these ones will just have a 1/4 inch spacer in there just on the outer half, so that it's not angled up, because if we don't put a spacer in there, everything angles upwards, and we don't like that look. So we're gonna have it come down just a tiny bit on the outer edge. So that's where we're at. So next thing is we're gonna go ahead and pull this down. And let's see here.
What's up with?
Huh? What's that?
What's up with your face?
Oh. So we're gonna go ahead and try and pull this down. It's always a fun one to get out of here. So there we go.
Careful.
Yep. So working on not making the faces when I'm doing stuff. Not always easy. So the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll countersink these screws here. We'll countersink those just so they're not going to be butting up against the bottom of the panel here. Got a couple there to countersink, and 4 here. Next thing also we'll do is we're going to cut these butt splices off. We'll put new ones on there, and we'll splice on 2 pairs of wires. 1 pair to go out here and 1 pair to go there, and it'll also be central to the center light. And then we'll push all these back behind the panel here, and we'll be good to go. Just this is too thick. We want to provide a little bit of clearance behind the panel. We're going to go with a little bit smaller gauge wire. We're only running LEDs, so it's not like we're powering anything that's going to have any huge draw on it. So, and then we'll eventually paint this and be ready to mount this up, hopefully. I don't know, maybe today, tomorrow, next week, next year, maybe never. All right. Okay, so one of the next steps we want to do is we want to cut off these old butt splices right here. Like that. There's the wire. It's not in bad shape at all. It's in good shape. Alright, so there's that. So I'll crimp the butt splice on there. So here we go. And that's it. It's crimped on there. It didn't feel like it went on very tight. We'll do a pull test. And it's on there, so pull test always lets us know if it's crimped on there tight, but it's on there pretty good. And then we'll do the same thing on the black wire. And then we'll strip it. Good looking wire, no corrosion on it. I stripped it a little bit on the long side, so we're gonna have to cut it a little bit. Shouldn't strip it more than 1/4 inch. Alright, so we cut our excess off. Still on the long side, but I think we can get away with that. Again, we're using another butt splice. Like that. And so it fits on there nice. We just don't want a bunch of exposed wire in the insulation zone. So that's why we want to try and keep our wire strands down to 1/4 inch. Okay, so we have our tool set up. I'm going to give this another twist. All right, it's in there. Felt like it was a good crimp. Do our little pull check, and it's on there. So that's what we're looking for. All right, so we have our two black ones twisted together. See how this goes. All right, so it's in there. Pull check's good. Now we have two wires coming out of one. So that'll be nice, gives us options. And then we'll do the same thing with the red wire. And then we have our two positive ones, two red wires, twisted together. And we'll go ahead and slide those in there. And they're in. Just repeating the process. Nice tight. Our pull check. So we're good. So we now have our positive and negative with two strands coming out on each is the way we wanted it. So that's what we have. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pull this screw here, and then we're going to countersink it. So we'll back it out. I'm going to use this nice little bit right here. It's very simple and crude, but it works. Alright, just like that. Go in there, not too deep, and then we're ready to put our screw back in. And that's pretty good. We probably should have went a little bit deeper, but I think we're all right. We're just a little proud of flush, but that's going to be okay. Right there. Then we'll do the same thing here. Just like that. And then we'll put our fastener back in. And that one was at a little bit of an angle, so. And again, that one's just a little proud of flush. I don't want to push it with that one, so because it was angled and we knew that going into it, but that's it. So we'll do the rest of them off camera. Kind of just gives you an idea of what we're trying to achieve here. And see, here's one that turned out nice and flush there. We'll do this one here. We'll take care of these three that are right there also. And then once we are done with that, we will be ready to start painting after we tape off. Once it's all painted, we can start really going to town, mounting the shims and spacers on there and getting ready to drill some mounting holes. Once we're done with this, we have this nice little project back here to work on. And there's a good amount of rot going on in that panel, and it's all from the water leaking down there as well, up underneath here. We will get it. It'll turn out nice. Alright, so we went ahead and taped it off. And just like that, we're ready. So we're going to use one of these handy dandy foam brushes. By doing this, I'm hoping we will be able to reduce the amount of drips that we're going to have. So we'll paint this, and then it should be ready for us to add the little spacers and start locating some holes.
So what you got going on here, honey?
Oh, I'm just adding the little sealer coat of paint on here, which is a little extra barrier protection against moisture possibly getting into the plywood. It's a little redundant. We already sealed it with penetrating epoxy, but we're just going to go ahead and paint it anyways, because that's what we like to do. More than anything, we're making another mess, but
We like mess.
oh yeah. So we'll get it on there, We'll get all this lightly coated with some paint, just like we do everything else. And it's a good way for us to see if we have any leaks or water streaks or anything going on. So works out pretty good. And so yeah, we'll just go ahead and paint all this, and we'll be ready to start putting some holes in it and locating some mounting spots here, hopefully tomorrow. We'll come back later once it's all painted, but that's what we got going on.
All
right. See
I'll
ya.
be right back.
Okay, I'll wait here. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be right back. Check if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah, I'll be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to get this done.
We'll see.
All right. So anyways, we're just putting the finishing touches on, and it looks nice. Nobody will ever see it, but at least we know that we did a good job and it's sealed really well. So once this dries, then we'll put the slats. We'll go where the tape is, all the way down here. That'll be these right here. We'll just put those kind of there and there and here and there, so on. And that'll be what our mounting holes for the teak plywood goes on to.
Alright, so he's doing what he's supposed to be doing then.
Always.
Good job, honey.
Yep, still. Okay, so one of the next steps we want to do is we want to go ahead and coat the backside of the new teak panel with penetrating epoxy. And then the backside of this panel already has it on there, so that's what it'll look like when it's all cured. It's part of the process we want to do to waterproof it, because these are in an area where they will get some drips every now and then on them from just condensation forming inside the boat, especially if we were to put it in storage for a long time. We just want to protect it. So here we are, we're just mixing up the penetrating epoxy right now, and we'll stir that up until it's nice and clear. 2-to-1 ratio is what it is, and I can tell you already that I've mixed too much, so we'll have a little bit of left over. So once this is all mixed up clear, then we'll go put it on and let it set up. So that's pretty good, nice and transparent. You don't need to mix it forever. But this stuff does wonders for sealing porous wood and things like that from allowing any moisture to get in. Any panels that we're putting in the boat or plywood that we're putting in the boat for any of our repairs, we're using this. Alright, so here it is. A few minutes later, we've applied a pretty generous coating of penetrating epoxy on here. We're just going to let that cure up, and next time we come back, it will be ready for a little bit more final trimming. We have just a little bit we need to take off on this edge right here. Anyways, that's where we're at. We'll check back later. And on here, we have finished our paint, and you can see it turned out pretty good. We've pulled our tape all along here. Keep in mind that we're going to have a 1/4-inch panel, so none of this should be visible. And then we also have our extra wires that we crimped on and captured that on the video as well. So I think we are pretty good. The next thing we want to do is we want to start measuring where we're going to put these slats. I've numbered them, so we'll be able to keep track of what position which slat goes where. The slats going on there are going to provide a little bit of clearance for the wires to run underneath. We're not sure what kind of lighting fixtures we're going to be adding down here down the road, but some of the canned lighting LEDs require a little bit of room on the back side of the panel, maybe like 1/8 of an inch or maybe 1/4 of an inch, so we'll have that slight gap there in case we want to go that route. So we don't know what our needs are going to be later, but we will have the gap there as we need it.
All right, so did you had fun, honey? Seems like you are.
I was struggling, if you call that fun. I was struggling. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just, it's all in the details right now, and one mistake can make a big difference right now. I mean, one mistake could cost us that teak panel. One mistake could be thickened epoxy put in the wrong spot, and we got to do a lot of grinding. Oh no. So anyways, we definitely did not commit to locating the holes and drilling the holes on the teak panel.
Not yet.
I was not able to make a decision on where we're going to put that. We did extend the wires. I think we took care of the angle on the dangle down there at the end. It's not pretty. It's not some of our best work, but it's going to fill the hole. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to fill that angle so that when the teak panel goes in there, it keeps the panel level and flush with the surrounding trim. Looks like we accomplished that, but behind the scenes, it's not pretty. It's not our best work, but I just didn't really know what to do there. So we got the penetrating epoxy, which was messy. We're struggling with that penetrating epoxy by, what's the name of that company again?
Total.
Oh, Halfway Boat, or no, Total Boat. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Total Boat. Yeah, that product, that penetrating epoxy, I don't know. We've had to throw out a couple batches of that, so I'm not sure we're having our best luck with that stuff. But anyways, hopefully it works. It just doesn't look like it's setting up right. Oh yeah, and we were able to get the underneath side sanded and painted, so that's ready to go. We're locating the spacers to level out the panel. We're definitely going to locate those, so that's going all right. But yeah, that's where we're at. So what do you think, baby?
It's productive week.
A lot of productive, a lot of small steps, a lot of sloppy work going on. But
Yeah,
hey,
it's part.
sometimes the sloppy part is the fun part, right?
Yep. That's right. So, guys, please watch it from the very beginning
Yeah.
up until the end.
A couple times wouldn't hurt. If you want to watch it a few times,
Yep.
we'll be okay with that. So
Stay tuned, guys.
yeah,
If you are not subscribed yet,
please subscribe down below, right here. Ding, 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 ding,
Yep.
ding, somewhere around in there. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't subscribed and you like watching us, please hit that subscribe button. We're getting closer.
Button.
Yeah, button. But we're getting closer all the time. We're trying to hit that goal of 1,000 subscribers, and plus, that just really helps us out. And
Once we get our 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna wear my bikini.
woohoo! Let's do it. It's a little cold right now for that,
Yep.
so maybe we'll put it off till the
We're
spring.
gonna do some private.
Yeah, for our patrons. Yeah.
Yep. Only one.
Yeah. All right.
Let's end this.
Wrap it up, baby.
Yep. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. See you to our next video.
See ya.
Bye.
Have a good one. Dang, if I only hit record. Man.
I think you did.
Okay. Take two. And action.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome
back.
I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together we make. What? Wait, hang on a second. And if we're lucky, did we record it?
What? Oh, are you kidding me? Dang it. Man. Did it work?
No.
Is it recording?
No.
Man. These GoPros, tell you what, man.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe you can help me.
I did last night.
All right.
Okay, so what do you think, honey?
Well, I think they should watch the video all the way through first of all.
Wait, hang on one second. Do you think we recorded it?
Oh, no. Did we?
No.
Oh,
Let's
man.
redo it again.
Dang, this GoPro. Of the new Teak panel.
Wait, hang on one second. Did we record it? Oh.
Yeah. And are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Just like we are, oh.
All right. Straighten her out here.
Dang, I don't have my microphone.
Oh, man. You almost had me on that one. Dang, that would have been bad.
Welcome back. Oops. JK. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right.
Stay Stay tuned.
Dang, it's not recording again.
Always.
Man, is it?
No.
Is on the light on?
You gotta redo it.
Man, these GoPros. This thing
Blame
is
it
so...
on GoPro, huh?
Well, I pushed the button, the light was working, and now it's stopped.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm so frustrated.
Let's redo it.
Yep. We'll start over. We'll start over. Yeah, so if you haven't subscribed yet, oh man, dang it. I don't think I... Did I hit it? Can you see the...
No, you didn't.
Man.
Oh, you did.
Is it?
No, we have to redo it.
Oh man.
Yep.
These GoPros, man.
Yep.
All right.
Time for a new one. Anyways, bye. Oh, is it recording? Maybe not. Did we record it?
Hang on. No, not yet. Oh man.
What?
GoPro. It's frozen. Froze Pro.